Hello, 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 y'all. Welcome to Bankroll Your Brains Thursdays. I'm Nicole Poppers Jones, your Bankroll Your Brains expert. Excited to be here with you every single week to pour into you in one of three areas. One is, what is your brilliance? What's the one thing God created you to do in this world, and how do you get clear on it and stand boldly in it? The second is the value tied to it. And the third is, how do you make income from it? And I'm going to tell you right now, the guest for today is going to talk to you about all three. Now, before I bring her in, couple of things. This is being pre-recorded. Let me say that because I know some of you come live because I have family in town and she'll be on the road, and we're committed to give you the insight that you need. I'm saying that because I still want you to comment. Because even though I'll be doing something with my family while you're watching this live, I'm still going to have my phone out looking at your comments, commenting back. So if she shares something that resonates, I want you to give her heart emojis. If she steps on your toes, because she might, give her some fire. And if you have questions, post them, because listen, I'm committed to help you get all you need, because this woman is going to share some valuable insight with you. The last thing I want to ask you is to share it. Share it, especially for the African American women out there. This is Black Doctor, so I know y'all are Black that are watching, and you might not be Black. Those of you that aren't, it's okay. But there are women, there are African American women in your community, in your tribe, in your circle that need this insight. So please, the button below, wherever it is, whether you're watching it live or watching the replay, I'm asking you to share it, because somebody, if not you, needs this valuable insight that I know our guest for this week is going to share. So without delay, let me introduce you, Gessie Thompson. Now, Gessie is listen, she's a fibroids survivor turned nutritionist and founder of the online wellness platform, the detoxnow.com. Coach Gessie works with celebrities and everyday women daily to eliminate the health equity gap by educating and empowering. And I meant to ask her how to say this, biopic. Correct me if I'm wrong, girl, when you come on. Women and families with resources, detoxes, herbal supplements, programs, coaching, and a whole community of support. That's not even half of it, y'all. That helps heal and prevent inflammatory conditions such as fibroids, diabetes, high blood pressure, infertility, and so much more. I want you to hear her story of why she started it. Now, listen, the results of her programs have included numerous women completely eradicating their symptoms, naturally shrinking their fibers, and having miracle babies. And I go on and on. When a doctor says you can't, Gessie will show you that you can with the help of her brilliance and God, because you go see she's God's girl like me. So with that said, let me bring up Miss Gessie onto our show. Hey, Gessie, welcome.
Hey, so
Always
happy
excited.
to be with you today.
Always excited to
All
have you here.
y'all and all y'all.
Now, did I say that word right?
So BIPOC stands for Black and Indigenous People of Color, right?
Ah,
Yeah, BIPOC.
I've never heard that. Listen, I'm a Black person, so I should at least know that part. That's wrong. But anyway, so we all learn stuff, including me. So with that, let's just jump right in, because I absolutely love your story
Mhm.
of how you got to this place. And looking at now, first of all, before she tells her story, how old is our miracle baby? How old is she right now?
She's 10. She's turning 11 in 2 months.
So that means you've been doing this for 11 years, right?
That's right, girl. Oh my God.
Well, tell us, we can ask you about how you became, but tell them the story of how you got to this place so they'll understand why that 11 year is so important.
So, like you said, I'm a God's girl, right? And early on, at the age of 17, I was introduced to Dr. Miles Monroe, who is our spiritual father and mentor, who taught me that you are born on purpose, right?
Mm,
That you were not born by accident. You were born because God had something that He needed done in this earth. And He said, Nicole, you are the one, right?
mm,
And He said, Gessie, I created you for this specific thing. Now, here's the deal. When I decided to just major in music business in college, it was because I thought, my passions, because you follow your passions when you're looking for your purpose, the breadcrumbs to follow is, what is it that you would do for free, right?
yeah.
What is it that you do because it fulfills you? Purpose is the key to fulfillment, right? And all of this, I learned when I read his book, Understanding Your Potential. So I went to college, NYU, whoop, whoop, for music business. I started working in gospel music because, like I said, I'm a God girl. I'm a Jesus girl. I was passionate about ministry and music. Now, little did I know, and in the entertainment world, I worked in that world for 15 years, but I started to have a personal health challenge that literally started to cripple my career. It everything from being on the road and having to be hospitalized to having all of these crises. And it was because I was diagnosed with fibroids at the age of 30. Here,
Mm.
my husband and I, we're happily married, and we planned, Nicole, planning, right? Where you're like, okay, when I turn 30, then we'll start trying. We're going to enjoy marriage. Well, at 30 years old, we're like, this is the time. But something started to go wrong because we weren't able to conceive. Turns out we got diagnosed. I got diagnosed with fibroids. And this started what I call my $1 million plus baby journey, because I learned that the fibroids were causing infertility, which
Mm.
fibroids are smooth. This is Fibroids Awareness Month. So I'm going to rep for my sisters out there, my fibroids warriors. They affect up to 90% of Black women by age 50. And
Mm.
they're smooth muscle tumors that occur in and around the uterine wall, and they can cause everything from excruciating pain, heavy bleeding, as well as anemia, and infertility is one of the major ones. So here I was, this is what I was dealing with, and it precipitated a journey of battling fibroids for 14 years and infertility that was caused by the fibroids for 10 years.
Wow.
Little did I know, everything from a miscarriage to 5 IVF, which is in vitro fertilization cycles. You want to talk about bankrolling somebody's brilliance? Somebody, the IVF doctors were being bankrolled with them
Right.
$30,000 a pop, to, of course, so many days in the hospital. By the time I had my daughter, I had 6 surgeries.
Wow.
And I went from fibroid surgery to IVF over and over until I learned why they kept coming back. But when I had my daughter, right, we're talking about, they told me, I got to speak about faith for a moment, because at 21 weeks, they told me, after a routine exam, they said, Mrs. Thompson, come into the office. We need to talk to you.
Mm.
Now, when they start saying we need to talk, something's wrong,
Right.
right? So the doctor looks across from me and he says, Mrs. Thompson, something is wrong where fibroids have returned. And I had just had a fibroid surgery 6 months before that. Okay?
Mm.
They're returning now. They're actually inhibiting the growth of your child. You have a condition called fetal growth restriction. And what that's going to do is cause your womb to become a hostile environment for you and your baby. And
Mm.
right now, the term abortion is being literally everywhere. The truth is, the doctor said you might want to consider terminating your pregnancy.
Mm.
I respect a woman's right, for her body. And at that moment, I had a real choice, because this life literally was affecting my health, right? Like I had to choose. Would
Yeah.
we both be in danger? My husband and I, we knew. I said, but it had taken us 10 years at this point to conceive this child, and 5 IVF cycles. And in my faith, and this is why you got to have a personal walk with your God. I
Mm-hmm.
said, no, God is a miracle worker, and I'm not giving up on this baby.
Mm-hmm.
We were admitted to the hospital. All I can say is 8 and 9 weeks. It was about 8 weeks later, because they said, Mrs. Thompson, we don't know. We've never seen anything like this before. And I said to them, well, you don't know my God.
Come
Okay.
on.
You ain't know my God. So I didn't expect you to know. All right. But when I gave birth to her, she was 2.5 pounds. And I say, when I birthed her, she birthed me into this
Mm.
work and my purpose and my destiny, becoming a nutritionist, becoming a health coach, and the founder of our online integrated wellness platform, the Detox Now. Because what happened is my story went viral. You know what happens? You share your story, Nicole, right?
Yep.
God did this crazy thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
10 years in, I had this miracle baby. And next thing I know, Essence is publishing a profile of my story that went viral.
Right. Wait, I want you guys to get this, okay? Because the thing that I absolutely love about you, Gessie, and she's clocking so much knowledge already, and y'all see why I'm excited, right? So the thing that I love about you is you had the baby. Great. That was a whole celebration. And then people forget and it gets silent after a while. Okay.
Right.
This is what I love about you is in the silence, which you weren't worried about because you didn't do what you did to be in essence. You didn't do what you did to be seen, but you realized I've got to educate myself in this place because I'm not the only one.
Yep. Yep. And the other thing that was really important, because I think how we get there is we say yes.
Yes.
It's a very important thing, because when Essence asked me about sharing my story, I said, okay, yes. And I was like, at that point, when God, he gives you this knowledge, like this is going to be a big change in your life. I just had this sense like this was a huge shift, and I didn't know what it meant, Because I was like, well, God, what does this mean? You mean I'm gonna be talking to people about fibroid? I don't know. This is what I said to God. It was hilarious. He was like, just say yes. So I always say to people, follow the breadcrumbs, right?
Yeah.
If he opens the door, because he said, my word will be a lamp unto your feet and a light unto your pathway. We be looking for the pathway, and God said, look, you didn't take the first step with the lamp of light I gave you at your footsteps.
Right. But here's the problem. Listen, she's dropping so many nuggets. Trying to contain my excitement. Listen, I think I know, and I'm sure you know this too, Gessie, in the journey of entrepreneurship. First of all, when God is calling you something that's bigger than where you are, the Bible verse is all things work together for the good. So I'm going to show you how her music career, her whole, about that at the end, how it's come full circle. However, we don't see that from the beginning, because even I started in TV and film. We've talked about this, and now I realize my whole producing thing is what I do in my business. But that's not why I stopped. I want y'all to get this. She said, "Light unto your feet." Now she did. That was a Bible verse. So technically, God said it at some point. Okay, but your feet, the path doesn't get lit until you walk.
That's
the problem is so many of us want to know the entire way before we start that first step. And I'm gonna tell you, if we know the entire way, we don't have to have faith.
That's
And
right.
God always puts us in a place where we have to lean on him. So listen, we can go into a whole Bible study, but I want you guys to
whole Bible. So
That's
an important part here is that the other thing that's critical is that know that whatever trials, whatever struggles you go through, it's part of your journey of faith, right?
Yes.
For me, it was fibroids, whatever it is, because God is connecting it to your purpose. All right. So whatever your trials are, they're connected to the solution you are to be in this earth. All right. So let's be aware of that. That's number one.
Right.
So number two is God's ways are not your ways. So you'd be looking like, you'd be like, oh, wait, Waze says the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. Well, why God want to take me over here first? Because he's building something in you that you don't know you're going to need 10 years.
Come on.
He's building something in you that you don't understand is going to be critical to your purpose. Because when I look back, I'm like, well, why did I go into the music business? What did that have to do with this? God flipped the script on me, but we're going to come back to that, right, Nicole?
And he knows the end from the beginning.
Exactly.
He knows how he can use you in every way. The thing I love, and I use this, those of you that are here every week, I use this often. Even David. So those of you that don't know the story of David in the Bible, I want you to go read it. It's in Genesis. I'll have to write it in the comments because I can't remember the chapter. But here's what I do want you to get. Gessie. David, was one of 8. Okay. And when God told the prophet, okay, go to Jesse's house. Funny enough that the daddy's name was Jesse. No pun intended. Right? So I am getting the name right. It is Jesse with a J. Hers is with a G. Anyway, so he goes to Jesse's house as he's told to do. Jesse brings every one of his children, every one of his sons first. And then he's like, okay, that's it. And the prophet's like, no, wait a minute. You got one more. Where is he? David's in the field to the sheep.
Thank you.
He had to be stanky. He had to be tired. Back then, they didn't have deodorant. I'm going to keep it all the way real. So when he came all the way in there, he was stanky, funky, like a hot mess. And the prophet said, yes, it's him. But here's what I want y'all to get. So the prophet says, oh, he's to be king. Do you know where David went? He took his butt back into the field.
That's right.
The reason I'm sharing this with you is because in that field, he was fighting off lions and all of things coming at the sheep. So when Goliath came, which is what became his claim to fame, that's why we know the story, he was ready for it. Same way that when Essence called Jesse, she was ready.
That's right.
I need you to get. And then even after David won that fight, he didn't become king. It took time because there was more development to be done. So tell us after that moment. After that moment, I want y'all to get that, right? Tell us, and really what she's sharing with you guys is how to be non-negotiable in success. I want you to get this. So she had to be non-negotiable. You've already seen she's done that. So you go from this moment that could have killed you and the baby to now birthing the baby and having this moment with Essence to now all of that is over. So how do you now go into this new place? It's like, how did you know to take that next step and grow this whole platform?
So I love the way you say it. It feels like, you were just so brilliant. How did you do that? And the truth is, I'm going to go back to saying yes. All right. So when I said yes to the story and the story went viral, I realized the Lord pulled me into this work of advocacy, because here I was being booked to be on panels as a patient advocate. And all I kept hearing with the same thing was people saying that we don't know what causes fibroids, but we know that this happens when women go into menopause, they shrink, or when estrogen levels are lower, things change. And I started to pray. God gave me this deep prayer. God, can I be part of the solution and not just talking about the problem,
Ooh,
right?
come on.
And as I just started to pray that, the issue at the same time is, God says when the student is ready, the teacher appears. I
Mm,
started going through my own crisis where after my another health crisis, after my last fibroid surgery, I now was going into full menopause at 44 years old, horrible symptoms, and the
mm,
doctors put me on hormone replacement drugs. Now they left my ovaries, so that shouldn't have happened. However, with all my surgical history, it did happen. And at that point, they put me on hormone replacement therapy. And the truth is, there's so much research that connects that to development acceleration of cancer. And I have
mm.
a praying mother and grandmother, and they were like, "Look, whatever you do, you're not gonna be on that. You can't stay on that. You got to find another solution. You're gonna pray." And I said, "Okay, Lord, whatever it is for me, please show me." And I like to say this was truly nothing but the work of God, because I was a traditionalista, meaning I had 10 surgeries.
Mm.
I took medication. I was all about the surgeries. I didn't know anything about herbs, natural healing. I got engaged at a rib place, meaning that's all I ate. I didn't eat no
Right.
vegetables, you know what I'm saying? So to see me living the life I'm living now, you got to know it's a work of God. Okay.
Mm.
So one day I was sitting in my office and I was like, okay, God, I'm going to believe you for something natural, a natural solution. But right now I just need this solution. I just need some help. So I had this estrogen patch and I was sitting in my office and he said, take it off. And I was
Mm.
like, it was one of those things, take it off. And it was obedience. It was just like,
Mm.
okay, God, when God says something, he ain't got to say D, because he told you and you know what he's telling you to do.
Right.
So now let me stop here for a moment, because some of you, this take it off, maybe he told you it may feel like something totally disconnected from what he's calling you to do. But
Mhm.
what he's telling you is necessary to unblock the next step for where he's taking.
Mm.
And that's really important, because it may not look like it may be, he may be telling you to get your house in order. He may be telling you to declutter your situation. He may be telling you to repair certain relationships.
Yes.
Remember, the non-negotiable to your greatest success is healing you. It is
Yep.
a healthy and whole you. Because you bring you wherever you go. You bring
Yes.
you to whatever success strategy you bring to the table. You are the number one ingredient to your success strategy, right?
Ooh.
So when God is focused, he's not focused on the destination. He's focused on you in the journey and who you are becoming in the process. So
Mhm.
let's go back. I said, okay, Lord. Within 2 weeks, he connected me to who is my partner now, Dr. Amun, who is a naturopathic specialist. And he started to talk to me about how estrogen dominance is the root cause. Now, it started ringing bells, because God will
Mm.
not, he will confirm something for you that he's been teaching you all along, right?
Mm.
And I said, wait a minute. This is the problem. There's a whole industry built around keeping us from having this education, because that means we can prevent the situation. We can reverse it naturally before it becomes an issue. But
Mm.
there's a billion-dollar, $34 billion business connected to uterine fibroids. It's called birth control, that advances hormonal birth controls, advance the development of fibroids, endometriosis, etc. It's called, of course, surgeries that are that's part of the business, and then hormone replacement drugs after that. So please understand that your healing and health is in your hands. It's in your power. So I go, how did I get there? I got there by saying, okay, yes, Lord. Yes, every time he opened the door, I said, Lord, I trust you. Because remember, I told you his ways are not our ways. When I was in the hospital, in days where it was like they were the darkest of days, you know what I learned in that time frame, Nicole? Was to hear God's voice. That I
Mm.
will not die, but live and declare the works of the Lord, right? That
That's
this was not the end, that when
so
things
good.
falling apart, that he said, no, I'm not anywhere near done with you. There will be glory after this. So I
That's so
didn't know what it was going to look like. I couldn't tell you. When you look at the 10-year plan of my life at that time, doing this work, I say
good.
God's Jeremiah 29:11, which
Yes.
is the plans that I have for you, to prosper you, to give you a hope and a future. His
Yes.
plan. That's the only way to his Ephesians 3:20 for your life, which is now unto him who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all you can ask, think, or imagine. This is my Ephesians 3:20, because I ain't even dreamed this. Okay.
Right. And I
Doing
want
this
you guys to
work.
get this. Listen, if you look at her platform, I want you guys to go to thedetoxnow.com and
Mhm.
look at how big the platform is. And there's no way, when you were laying in your hospital bed, when
No.
Vanessa's called and she said that first yes. Now,
Mhm.
here's the other thing that's interesting. Sometimes God will give you the vision of the end, but he'll tell you all the stuff you got to do in the middle.
Hey.
And the reason he doesn't, I know this from my own journey, because I'm halfway at the vision he gave me. It's all the stuff in the middle. You wouldn't do it. You wouldn't say yes to it if you knew all the stuff you had to do in the middle. Like I'm sure
No,
David
ma'am.
would not have if he knew he had to kill a giant and people would be after him trying to kill him and all kind of stuff. And I really want you guys to see your own journey in this. Whether you are in a health disparity place, and I love you said this, Gessie, because listen, you can see how passionate she is. So she could talk about this for the next 5 hours and not take a breath and not take a breath, not take a break, go to the bathroom because this is how passionate she is about this. Because she's not someone that just talks the talk. She lived it. She walked it, she learned from it, and then teaches from her own life experience, and then gotten so knowledgeable at it that she is the go-to when you're going through. Listen, when I found out I had fibroids, I was trying to figure out. She was like, "Go natural." I started researching natural, and my fibroids are shrinking because I'm going through perimenopause. Even with that, if I give you another testimonial, I was like, "Don't put me on that. I want to stop having hot flashes, but I needed to be plant-based. Don't be
That's
trying
it.
to put me on this other stuff, right?" And so
Yep.
I fought for it. And because there are people like Gessie out there I didn't even know to ask for. Let me make sure I'm not having all this extra stuff in me. So I
Right.
want you guys to get this. The
Yep.
reason I'm sharing all that is I love what you said. Everywhere you go, there you are.
That's
So how
right.
do you do this work that you're called to do if your body isn't healthy to be able to
That's
do
right.
it? So tell us what's the one thing daily that we can really unapologetically do to fuel our own health, to really get into this health journey, whether you have fibroids or not. And
Mhm,
those of you watching, don't discount it because you might one day learn you have it. So
mhm.
you better know who to call, or you get diagnosed with some other health disparity, diabetes. Tell them, well, we'll talk about that at the end.
Yeah.
But tell them what's the one thing they can do, because I'm going on another question. She ain't answered this one. Tell them the one thing they can do each day to really be unapologetic about their health.
So, one key thing is that the same thing that fuels fibroids is inflammation. It fuels many of our the conditions that we're disproportionately affected by, whether it's hypertension, high blood pressure, diabetes. They're fueled by inflammation. So,
Mhm.
understanding that this knowledge will literally transform your overall health. Okay.
Mhm.
So, one of the key things, and this is where we have to start, is by choosing our own health, right? And that starts with making room. I say to
Mhm.
people, in order to say yes, you got to say no to certain things, right?
Whew.
You have to make room for your health, and you have to make room for your healing. You have to make room for your self care. And that starts by saying, anything like you do one practice for 21 days, it becomes a habit, right?
Mhm.
So I created this free Detox Living kit, which includes actually our free challenge, which it gives you three easy steps for daily change. And it's three steps are everything from number one, it starts with a ginger tea in the morning. You'll break it down. You'll see it's so simple. Any ginger tea is not my brand or nothing. It is. And then you sit and you take time to think about your day. You know what's my one non-negotiable every single day is I
Mhm.
spend time in the morning. I say, God, your kingdom come, your will be done. What give me today my daily bread? What's my daily bread for today? Meaning, what's the focus, your priority for my day? Because I don't know about you, Nicole. I will load my day with so many to-dos and so
Right.
many things. And I stop and I say, Lord, what's the focus for today? What's the non-negotiable for today?
Yeah.
And in throughout the day, I turn around and I do what we call the stop, breathe, and exhale, which is
Mhm.
every couple of hours you check in with yourself to stop, to breathe, because breathing reconnects you. I heard you talking to Dr. I forgot her name right now, but with the janitor, right? You stop,
Mhm.
breathe, and you now exhale and you say, God, I exchange my stress for your peace. All right.
Mhm.
And what you do when you stop and you breathe every day throughout the day and you make room, it's making room for silence. It's making room for what we call recovery. Okay. Because if you have a schedule where every day what you're doing is back to back, you're not allowing yourself recovery time. So
Yeah.
one of the number one things that's free that you can do is build recovery time into your overall day, because stress will actually accelerate the development of disease. Whatever conditions you're dealing with,
Yeah.
stress is like putting it on steroids. All right. So the number one thing you can do that's free, you don't have to go buy it anywhere, is to create room between the activities in your schedule. Okay. Create room for you, allowing yourself to just be. What I find is we don't allow ourselves to just have time for recovery. This
Yeah.
is literally one of the most critical things you can do every day, is to create breathing room in your life to just recover from, like, we're not, every time, let me just talk about cortisol for a second. We do these things nonstop, nonstop, nonstop. And even if it's great things, you have amazing things happening, but the pressure of nonstop keeps you in this fight or flight mode all the time. And as Black women, understand we have the trauma of racism that is continuously keeping us in a state of stress, right? The trauma of feeling like we're not enough, we're never enough. We're always having to process that. And because that we walk around in an inflammatory state all the time. And what cortisol does is your body, when you're in this place of pressure, your body, it fuels your body with cortisol. And cortisol is a chemical reaction. It's the stress hormone. And what it does is it causes your body to constantly be in the state where you are predisposed to more disease and symptoms and conditions. So by removing that stress, by creating more space in your life, you now are caring for yourself in a way by saying, you matter. Your recovery matters. Your breathing room matters. That's why I created our free challenge. And again, it's in our free Detox Living kit, just for you to say, what can I do? And once you do it for 21 days, you're going to feel now empowered to do so. You know, I'm going to take on some healthier habits, which again, we provide so many resources. I'm going to take on making some changes, whether it's I'm going to have this in the morning, every morning instead of this. And it's not the change. It's not making all changes all at once. It's what do we call it? Inculcate into your lifestyle, one change at a time, that can become a lifestyle change. So as you do it, you will be so strengthened and empowered and know you can live what our mantra is: detox living, right? Which is life free of toxic thoughts, toxic people, toxic habits, and toxic foods. You see, the foods are at the end because it starts with the thoughts and then the people and then the habits. The foods, you'll change that as you are now caring for yourself.
So good. So good.
So that's the non-negotiable.
So good.
Yourself.
And getting this for you guys, see it on the screen, the detoxnow.com/gift. By the way, the detoxnow.com is her website, so you can get education, but grab the gift too. So in closing, I want to out myself and share this. And then if you don't mind, tell them the full circle moment, because I think it's so good.
Yes.
Share this. And so in the middle of COVID, y'all, many of us have gotten bad habits that we didn't realize to make us feel better. So me included. So I'm doing this whole study on stewardship. So I'm thinking it's about stewarding your gift, because we know about, those of you that are church girls like us, they talk about tithing money. Well, it's time, talent, and treasure. So I'm studying all three because I'm getting ready to do this whole series in my own podcast. Those of you that don't watch my podcast, it's fpppodcast.com. So with that said, I didn't know I was going to say this. So I don't have that written down, but listen, I'm talking, and one day God says to me, and I'm researching these three: time, talent, treasure. That's it. God says to me, you're not being a good steward over your health. Let me tell you why. Because Sister Girl learned how to perfect a Cosmo in COVID, baby. It was D-Nice. Those of you that know D-Nice and a Cosmo every night. And I was wondering why I was gaining so much weight. God said, you're not being a good steward. Now, he didn't tell me not to drink at all, but every day is not okay.
No.
And so I had to learn, the sugar and the fact that I was having it every day, especially I'm in perimenopause. So I want you guys to get this. This is not just a conversation around if you're having some health challenge right now, whether you're dealing with fibroids or diabetes or any inflammatory anything. This is also, are you being a good steward, period? Because ultimately, whatever you're doing to your body, it will show up in your body. With that said, because again, she could talk about this for the next 5 hours, because this is her thing. And so if you need support, you see the gift there on the screen. Tell them the full circle moment you're in the middle of right now, which I think, as much as you want to say, I think it's so funny for them to hear.
So I just want to tack something you just said. Our body is the temple of the living God, and God will trust you with more when he can trust you with what he already gave you.
Yes.
So honor him by caring with the greatest resource he's given you, which is yourself. So fast forward to, I guess it's like 25 years now, almost 30 years. I have a daughter. Her name is Nia. It means purpose, who told us at 5 years old, she said, Mommy, I'm supposed to be on the stage. And like, well, you're an only child. You just love being the center of attention. Sure, right? 6 years old, she said, okay, I'm supposed to be in my first project by the time I'm 7 or 8 years old. Prophesy. I was like, out of the mouth of babes. So I said, okay, I better get this child an agent. She was signed within 15 minutes of meeting her agent.
Mm.
And not only has she gone on, she is now a SAG-AFTRA card-carrying member actor
This
and
a miracle baby, y'all. This is a miracle baby. This is a baby she was
baby.
supposed to not have. Okay, I'm telling
Knew
y'all.
her purpose. Who knew her purpose? Her name means purpose, and she knew her purpose. She told
Right.
us she is one of the stars of Questlove from The Roots and Black Thought. They have an animation show called Rise Up, Sing Out. If you have kids, this show is phenomenal. It is taken off by storm. She sings and she's a voice actor for this show called Rise Up, Sing Out on Disney. So she's a Disney kid. And her song Super Bonnet has gone viral like crazy. It's been everywhere. And she is also in Godfather of Harlem. She plays Malcolm X and Dr. Betty Shabazz's daughter. She's been on Equalizer with Queen Latifah. And we are leaving tomorrow for her first guest star role. That means that she's more of a dominant role in this show. I can't tell you the show, but we're filming in Mexico for 4 weeks.
Hello.
And it's a crazy A-list actor. Like, I want to tell you so bad.
And you know, because we'll come back. But here's what I want you guys to get. The baby that wasn't supposed to be, first of all,
I'm her manager.
Okay, so her undergraduate degree is in entertainment. And I'm going to tell you, whether you work in music or TV and film, it all is transferable skill.
Absolutely.
Entertainment, anything, okay? Mm-hmm. So whereas she would have had to hire someone to understand the contracts and negotiate the deals, God knew what he was doing because she's already ready for it and created a whole platform. So I'm sure, even in that platform, you've learned some new things that folks in entertainment didn't know because she's been in the work and creating this whole platform. So I want you guys to get what's about all things work together. Not a couple things.
Nothing is wasted in God.
All things work together. Good. Nothing. So good. So with that, Gessie, thank you for your commitment to show us the way, to hold the light that we can all get to our best, most healthy place. Thank you for your willingness to stand the gap for Black women. Sorry, Black men, but that's what it's about. But listen,
Black families. I'm here for the families. The men are included.
Black men got issues too.
And issues, whatever. We got you.
Where they're on. So don't think this is discounts, you know. But she started with fibroids, but it expanded. Yes. So thank you for all of what you do. And I'm so excited and proud. And yes, girl, watching the Godfather of Harlem is one of our favorite shows. So I'm always watching it. So I'm so proud of her and all that is to come. So I just appreciate you for saying she was so committed to y'all that she was like, okay, can we pre-record? Yes. Because this is Fibroid Awareness Month as it airs live, July. It's Fibroid Awareness Month. That's so that is another reason why I want to ask you guys to share this, because again, you don't know who is dealing with fibroids in your community.
Up to 90% of Black women. That means almost every single Black woman you know has been affected by this condition. Yep. Absolutely. All right. So we have to be not just our sister's keeper. We have to be our sister and support one another.
So good. Thank you, girl. I love you. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Looking forward to being part of your tribe, y'all. Follow me, Coach Gessie, at Instagram and get that gift.
And make sure, yes, get this gift, y'all. Don't discount. And listen, if you think you don't need it, get it for somebody that you know needs it and give it to them. Thank you, girl. So again, that was this episode of Black Doctor. Listen, our Bankroll Your Brains Thursdays on Black Doctor. See, she got me so excited. I get excited when I see people that are functioning in their purpose and not just standing in it, because there are some people that tiptoe in it. She's standing boldly in it. And the more she stands boldly in it, she's informing and helping all of us get healthy. So again, if you found any value, please post it below and give Gessie a shout out and let her know that what you learned in this episode. And if she can do anything to help you in your journey, don't hesitate to reach out. All right. So with that was this episode. You know, I'll be back next Thursday. I'll be live with you next Thursday with another phenomenal person here to hold the space that you bankroll your brains. Have a good rest of your day. Bye, y'all.